Alrighty, and then next on the list, we have the Sugar Bowl in New Orleans. Number 3, Georgia takes on number 6, Ole Miss. Uh, we have a rematch on our hands, Mash. Georgia versus Ole Miss without Lane Kiffin, but
Hmm.
obviously, that may not be a huge factor as Ole Miss proved that they can compete without him and win, in the win against Tulane.
Yeah.
So in that game, however, we saw Kawan Lacey and Trinidad Chambliss. They had some injury issues a lot arise in that game. I think they'll both be good to suit up, but we just, something to keep an eye on in this game, especially with Lacey, as his injuries seem to be an existing, lingering one.
Yeah.
Yeah, for Georgia, I mean, talk about deja vu, right? They're in the same bowl as they were last year, same, bye week scenario, same quarterback that's starting, but with a lot more experience. Um, it being with it being his first career start last year. The question and concern for them is, can Kirby ensure a month off wasn't too much time to get rusty? Remember, they lost to Notre Dame in the same position last year. Um, if this game is anything like the first matchup against Ole Miss, they surely cannot afford anything but a perfect performance. As the Bulldog offense, they had their best game against Ole Miss all year.
Hmm.
And, it was the reason that they were able to overcome a 9-point deficit the fourth quarter. Yeah. Everyone talks about, why the bye week could be a bad thing. But, I mean, let's talk about why it could be a good thing for Georgia. What are some theories or points, Mash?
Yeah, I would say injuries, right? The time off definitely can help on that front. We could see, key players. I saw Colby Young practice. I saw videotape of him practicing. I saw a video of Elias Williams, or sorry, not Elias Williams, the Ethan Barber, the tight end. He's practicing. So um, I heard things about Drew Bobo. I don't think he'll be back this season, but at least it gives Malachi Tolliver time to get better at that center position. Obviously, such a key position for the cadence and rhythm for this team to be all on one accord. But anyway, these names that I mentioned, these are key leaders for this team, and it'll be difference makers if they can get some playing time in this game. Number 2, obviously, preparation. Kirby Smart probably was almost certain that they had to, prepare for Ole Miss for this game. He, I'm sure, didn't care that Lane Kiffin left. He knows the talent level disparity between these two programs. There was very little chance that Tulane was going to be able to suddenly jump over Ole Miss there. I'm usually not the guy who will underestimate coaching. So if you give Kirby Smart and Glenn Schumann that much time to prepare for a team that they've already played, we've seen what's happened. We saw it a couple weeks ago with the SEC championship. So, yeah,
Yeah, no, good points there. Good points there. So on the latter end, I think a first round game for Ole Miss was perfect for them, right?
yeah,
They had not played since Thanksgiving. They had lost their head coach. This game against Tulane was the perfect opportunity to sharpen up some iron, make sure your team hasn't fully lost their identity, Um, this team also might have been a little pissed off with their head coaching situation. So it was
hmm,
the perfect time to get some emotion out and, not bring that into a bigger game like the UGA game to
yeah,
where
fair
a
point,
mistake could cost you, right? So I
fair point.
think it was perfect for them. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what will be the key things to watch in this rematch for you, Aaron?
Yeah, yeah. So for UGA, it would be, can their defense carry over what we've seen from them in the last stretch of the regular season, right? Everyone has said since the fourth quarter of that Ole Miss game, um, this team has been different. My question will be, can Glenn Schumann, can he get these guys going on defense early? It's going to take containing, the explosive Trinidad Chambliss and this wide receiver core who has 5 different receivers with over 500-yard receiving on the year. That's different.
Yeah.
Um, remember the 70-yard explosion play from, I think it's Dejon Stribling.
Yep.
Um,
Opened
in
up the
the
third
third
quarter.
quarter
Yeah.
of this first matchup, he's not even their number 1 or number 2 target. So that just speaks to the volumes of like the depth they have.
Yeah.
Um, UGA's secondary and defensive pressure will be a key factor for them in this game. Run defense was, I think, never really a concern this year. So we'll see if they can stop the passing game and, you know, stop the number 2 ranked defense in the nation. Um, for Ole Miss, the question will be, can they continue to be the offensive geniuses without their offensive guru in Kiffin? Um, this will be the first true test without him, so we'll see if things are still truly flowing well. The way I see Ole Miss winning this game is by just outright outscoring the Bulldogs. I'd like to think that lightning doesn't necessarily strike twice, so it feels highly unlikely for the UGA offense to just have the perfect performance that they did the first time.
That's true.
Um, yeah. So I mean, with both of these keys, I think is more likely for one thing to happen. I think it's more likely that UGA will come into this game prepared to control the ball and make this game as low scoring as possible. We heard it from Kirby, since that SEC championship post game, this team is ready to get better every day, right? They're ready to compete and have some bloody Tuesday practice, whatever that means, right? Um, I think they will be on high alert. They'll be flying around the ball and control the game, even if they find themselves down by a field goal or a touchdown a few times in this game. So I'm picking UGA to win this one.
Yeah, I understand Kawan Lacey probably will play, but there's no way with that shoulder that he's going to be able to deal the damage or take the damage that he normally can. So first, second quarter, he takes one or two of those hits, and then all of a sudden he's like on the sideline more and more. That's going to start to affect the Ole Miss, offense, right? Their defense is one of the worst in the SEC. We've seen UGA's defense make a 180 turn since that Ole Miss game. Too many signs for me point towards a UGA win, so I'm gonna go with UGA on this one.
Okay. Fair, fair, fair. Well, okay, yeah, that pretty much wraps up what we've got for this episode and our thoughts on college football so far at this point in time. We will be back Friday to talk through our thoughts on the quarterfinals. React to what happened, and then the semis will start on the 9th of January. So we'll bring our previews before then. With that being said, that is all we have. Thank you guys for watching First and Short.
Yep. Appreciate you guys watching. Have a happy new year. See you guys soon.